Hello again, this is Kyle. Let's write some code. Today we're going to be talking about CSS Selector Precedence, or in other words, why some rules in CSS apply to certain elements and why some rules will override those rules. It can get confusing, especially when your app gets a bit complicated. So understanding how the CSS Selector Precedence or Specificity works will hopefully make it easier when you do run into these issues. So I have my typical dev setup here, and there'll be a card in the corner if you want to get this same dev setup going for you. But what I have here is an example. So we basically have a div tag that has the ID of animals wrapping this strong tag with the class bear grizzly. And currently there's no styles besides this default one here, just to make it bigger and more noticeable and a better font. So let's explore this. If I want to make all strong tags a certain color, I could just specify strong, and then let's make them all green. And so this, of course, will make our bear green. But then if I go in here and I say, okay, all strong tags with the class bear on them, I want those to be red instead here. You'll see that even though that this CSS selector comes before the strong tag, that this one takes precedence over this one and makes our grizzly bear or grizzly text red. That's because this one is more specific. So let's go ahead and add another rule here. We're going to use the ID animals here from here, and then we're going to specify the strong tag, and we're going to give this a color blue. And so when I save this, even though this appears before all these other ones and it's targeting the animals and then the strong tag, you'll see that this takes precedence over these other two ones, and colors are grizzly blue. What in the world is going on here? So in CSS, the selector with the most specificity will win. And we can calculate this easily by assigning three numbers. So let's first look here at this strong.bear selector and calculate the specificity for it first. So to do so, let's just add a little comment here. To do so, we're gonna have three numbers, and we're gonna start them all off as zeros. So the first place refers to any selectors, any parts of our selector here that has an ID. You know, for up here, such as this is animals. But this rule right here does not have any IDs, so we're just going to leave this with 0. Now the second number is for classes or attributes, and you can see here that our rule here has one class specified, so we're going to change this number to a 1. And then the last number here is going to be for any tags or elements in here, and so you see here we have 1 with the strong tag, so we're going to change that to 1. So our selector specificity here is going to be 0, 1, 1. And so let's go ahead and calculate up here to animals space strong. So the first number here is for the ID. We have 1 ID, so we'll put a 1 there. The second number is for classes or attributes. We don't have any, so we're going to leave that as 0. And then the last one here is for any tags or elements, and so we're going to add a 1 here. And so you can see here that the specificity for animals space strong is 1, 0, 1, and the specificity for strong.bear is 0, 1, 1. So any number right here in this place is always going to take precedence over the numbers in this place. So if this number is 1 here, but this number is 99, this 1 here will still win, will still beat the 99. So it's important to know that because we have specified an ID here, that this specificity is going to override this one, and then this rule right here is going to apply, and why our grizzly here is blue. So using that knowledge, let's explore another example here. I'm going to remove that and add another class here called bears to this. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say strong.bear.bears. I'm going to add 2 classes to it, and then I'm going to color this green. And you'll notice here that bears or .bears takes precedence over .bear, and it doesn't matter which order it is, it still wins and is why our grizzly is green. And this is because the specificity for bears is 0 for no IDs. We have 2 because we have 2 classes being applied here. It's matching 2 of these classes that we have specified down here. And then we have one tag for the strong tag here. But down here we only have 1 class here. So you can see that this is more specific, and it matches this one better because it has the 2 classes. The order of the selectors only matters when the specificity is the same. So for instance, if I remove and clean some of this up here, and let's create another selector here called red, and anything with this class will be given the red color here. And so I'm going in here and I'm editing my CSS, and I go, okay, we have a strong bear that's red, and that I expect that to be the colored red. So all I need to do is add the class here, and then I save it, but it's still green. Why? You know, that's confusing. So let's calculate the specificity of this one. So there's no IDs, so 0. We have 2 classes and 1 tag, so 0, 2, 1. This one has no IDs, 2 classes, but 1 tag, so 0, 2, 1. They have the same specificity. So anytime this occurs, then what the CSS is going to do is going to say whatever the last declared selector rule is, will apply that one. So now the order is important. And so if we move the red statement here below, you can see now our grizzly is red as expected. So again, let's add a rule that is more specific that will override our current one. So we'll say, we'll add an ID here, animals strong, and this will be color, I don't know, blue. And so the specificity for this one is going to be 1 for the ID, hashtag animals, pound sign animals, I mean, not hash, I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyways, and 0 for no classes and 1 for a tag. And so this one is going to be more specific, and which is why it'll override these other 2 and give us our blue grizzly. But what if we wanted to override and we say, no, 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 I definitely want this bear to be red. What you can do for the individual rules here, you can add a exclamation point important, and this will tell it to ignore these other rules and just use this one because this is really important. So now that I've shown you important, I'm going to ask you to never use it. And the reason is because important, anytime you see that, it's a good indication that there's something broken in your selector precedence, and you're basically just adding a band-aid or just covering up the problem rather than fixing it. And so instead of here using important to get what we want, we just need to make this selector more specific by adding an ID to it to get our red grizzly here. Or maybe a better solution, and the solution that I personally use, is I don't ever use IDs. I only use classes. And rarely use tag names or elements as selectors as well. This just simplifies everything down to focus on one number to worry about, this middle number here of how many classes are applied. And so here, if I change the ID here to class animals instead, I can simply remove animals there and change this back to a class. And you can still see my grizzly is red as I expect. So it just kind of it just simplifies all the rules down to one number and makes things a little bit more sane. So there's one last piece to this CSS Selector Precedence, and that's inline styles. And it's a very easy one because simply inline styles always win. So if I set an inline style here to magenta, you'll notice that it doesn't matter what my rules in my CSS here have stated, the inline style wins. So I hope this has made CSS a bit less frustrating to you, and if it has, then please share the video and make CSS less frustrating to others. And if you want to see more videos, then please subscribe. Thanks again for watching.